Alrighty, so they are back at it once again, man. This is like a never-ending fight, and oh my god, is it hilarious. It is so entertaining. It's crazy. I mean, it's the gift that legitimately keeps on giving. Now, we've talked about this whole feud a few times. I think we might have only talked about it once, but this feud has been going on for quite a long time. Now, the last time we talked about it, they got into this beef over Kanye West, where Tomi Lahren subtweeted Candace Owens saying, like, well, I knew Kanye wasn't legit, and, haha for you believing that. And then Candace Owens responded, and they got into a hilarious back and forth. I was actually with Tomi on that one. This one is going to be a little bit different here. This is kind of a weird situation. So they got into it really hard, and it became very personal pretty damn fast. It went straight up, just low blow after low blow. This went from, let's talk about policy disagreements, to you're a disgusting person, you're a vile human being, you were talking crap about me behind the scenes, and I'm gonna drop these text messages exposing you. It's pretty hilarious, dude. This is like some peak TMZ stuff that I'm about to do right now. But here is how Candace started out. So, a little bit of a preface here. So, there's this First Step Act, which is going to be this criminal justice reform. Now, surprisingly enough, Donald Trump supports it, and so do Candace Owens and the guy named C.J. Pearson. C.J. Pearson is a young black conservative, so I think he's pretty big because of that. And so they started to get into a beef with Tomi Lahren because Tomi is in disagreement with said law, the First Step Act. Now, here's what happened. So Candace Owens, oh yeah, by the way, a guy named R. Tyson 82 on Twitter documented this, so I want to give him a thank you, because Candace Owens actually went on to delete a bunch of the tweets, but he screenshotted them, so big ups to him. So it started out like this. Candace Owens said, "I would like to publicly offer the wonderful Tomi Lahren a forum to debate me regarding the hashtag First Step Act to Turning Point USA. Tomi seems to know a lot about criminal justice reform, and showing the world that conservatives can respectfully debate ideas is a win for everyone." So this tweet makes it sound like it's pretty cordial, but I think the reality of the situation is that it's not really cordial, and it's pretty damn personal. So she is challenging Tomi Lahren to a debate on this act. Now, Tomi Lahren's not a big fan of debating, and I want to say that I'm not of the ilk where if you're challenged to a debate, if you don't do it, like you're a moron or a coward or something like that. The only people I call out for the whole debate thing, because debating is just, it's a political sport. A debate doesn't actually determine whether or not the ideas are actually right or not. It's a sport. It's like when we see Ben Shapiro go out and grandstand. The only time I call people out for that, so when I make videos about Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, and now Jordan Peterson, it's because all of them set the standard. Oh, and Dave Rubin as well, where, Ben Shapiro's the guy who debates everyone. Steven Crowder's the guy who said lefties won't come on my show, and he just debates college kids. Same thing sort of with Ben Shapiro. Remember what happened with Kyle Kalinske? Dave Rubin's the guy who's all about the free exchange of ideas and debating, but obviously he's not. Jordan Peterson says, Marxists won't debate me, but when they offer to debate you, you're too scared to actually take it. So I'm not calling people out for just not doing debates. I'm calling people out for being hypocrites. So I don't consider this to be something where it's like, oh yeah, like Tomi is, like you won't do debate. I don't find that to be a real point. But could you imagine being offered a debate by Candace, like being in a position where you're not down to debate Candace dumbfuck Owens? Candace Owens is the biggest imbecile I've ever seen in my entire life. She's legitimately the dumbest right-wing pundit. I did multiple videos on the climate change fiasco. Go ahead, check it out. All right, Tomi Lahren responds to that saying, "You called me a vile human being and intellectually bankrupt. You've deemed my job at Fox News a failed career. Today you deleted yet another personal attack. You didn't want me at Turning Point until now. Why? So you can berate me in a forum favorable to you? Nah, I'm good." So Tomi Lahren passes. I can sort of understand why. I mean, I guess she doesn't want to be on the Turning Point USA forum, which, I don't know, I guess that makes sense. I don't know, I guess she doesn't want to contribute to Candace Owens' career. But remember that Candace did call her career a failure, which I don't think by any objective measure is true. I just think that If you look at the actual numbers, I don't understand how her career is a failure. I think that's pretty far from a failure. But then Candace responded to that, saying, "This is a nice try to play the victim, Tomi, but I called you a vile human being for the nasty things you texted me before I even knew you. I called you intellectually bankrupt because you shout opinions and refuse to debate them long form like you're doing now." Okay, let's step back here for just a second. Candace Owens is calling other people intellectually bankrupt. Dog, if you were to ask Vegeta what the scouter says about the irony level, that shit is over 9,000. This is hilarious. She's calling somebody else intellectually bankrupt when she's literally the dumbest person. She's dumber than Tomi Lahren and Dave Rubin. That's a really low bar, man. That's a really low bar. How do you manage to go under that bar? How? How, Sway? How? It's impossible. It's not possible. It's hilarious. It's unbelievably hilarious, okay? And so this is where it starts to get personal. This is where it starts to get to a whole new personal level at this point. So then Tomi Lahren answers with another one of her tweets. Says, "I was a huge supporter of Turning Point USA for years. I love the students. Leadership has since taken a turn, and it's not something I will take part in / promote any longer." And then she goes on. Candace responds to that tweet saying, "Wow, okay, time to expose you because you aren't going to lie about what happened between you and Turning Point. Everybody ready?" So she's getting ready. She's setting the stage to expose Candace Owens for the whole fallout that happened over on there. So she tweets out saying, "This was the graphic in question which led to Tomi's falling out with Turning Point USA. Should I drop the messages she sent me about me after she saw my face next to her face? Because I saved them all in the event she tried to compulsively lie like she's doing tonight." Now the graphic, it's a graphic that's promoting Turning Point USA. It says, "Hard truths, exposing leftist lies and progressive propaganda." All right. And then it's a picture of Candace, Charlie, and Tomi. Now, apparently, it seems to be the case that Tomi did not take too kindly to being, or at all, she hated it, apparently, that she was being used in a way to promote Candace Owens, and that's what it looks like. Now, it's funny, the guy who documented this, he was trying to nudge Candace on to release the text messages. So props to him for that. That's hilarious. Then Candace said, "Charlie begged me to keep quiet on the situation when it transpired. You owe him a thank you. Your falling out with Turning Point is because of your own nastiness and a leadership that would not tolerate it despite your popularity at the time." So it seems like there's a lot of disorganization and a lot of bad stuff going on at Turning Point where everyone's disagreeing with each other and they're at each other's throats. Remember the whole Caitlyn Bennett thing where she was so stupid that they dressed up in diapers and had like baby bottles to show that it's a safe space, but then everyone started photoshopping pictures of Charlie Kirk in a diaper and tweeting it at him, and he was like, "Oh, you moron," and then had her fired or she quit or something like that. It's hilarious to watch these morons at work. By the way, Turning Point USA is just totally rich right-wing funded. They get funding from the Koch brothers as well as others. And they were actually in a scandal for trying to hide funding for college-level Senate positions at colleges. I'm not trolling right now. I'm being serious. Senate positions in college, university. That's so hilarious. It's unbelievable. So this kept going for a while. Tomi Lahren says, "I'll do it for you. I was going to be used to stir up controversy and promote you at UC Berkeley. I wasn't happy about it. I then privately emailed and apologized to you for inappropriate things I said. You never responded. I privately asked to call you. You never responded." And then Candace responds to that saying, "Inappropriate things? You mean vile things. You were not going to be used. You were invited to do an event. You were okay doing the event until you saw my face. Do not attempt to rewrite history. Turning Point did nothing to you other than reject your nastiness." And this goes on for a little bit longer with some other stuff as well. And then Candace responded to someone else saying, Her text messages would not have been received well by any side. She did apologize, but only because I flat out caught her and sent her an email about them. So this was just full throttle. Tomi Lahren says, I personally and privately apologize to you for anything rude I said. I did feel used and lied to promote you. I've always tried to do this off social media. Quite frankly, the whole thing is stupid. This started with prison reform, and you're making it about you. It's not. Candace then responds to that. This is a lengthy beef, dude. This is very lengthy. Actually, I simply challenged you to a debate, and you instead attacked Turning Point and lied about your falling out with us. You apologized because I confronted you, because you got caught. You also blocked me and have been shit-talking Turning Point ever since. Insincere. Now, this, I think, goes on for a little bit longer, and this was not well received on the conservative side. Now, I think that may be the end of the whole beef that's going. Actually, I mean, Tomi goes on. She says, I didn't lie as I stated. I didn't want to be used to promote you. I apologize because it wasn't really your fault. I was upset with how Charlie handled it. I tried to communicate with you off Twitter, but you want some big feud. Not everyone likes to be used, right? At Kanye West. Trying to at Tomi Lahren, and then Candace Owens said, you're trying to draw blood, but it won't work. Ye is my friend. You lied. You did not make a decision to pull back from Turning Point. We kicked you out of the event despite the fact that you were way more popular than me at the time because your messages were so nasty. So, and then I think she ends it by saying, TLDR, Tomi has been suffering a year-long aftershock that Charlie had the audacity to walk away from a furious diva. Only child syndrome demands. Now she's pretending she walked away because of some virtuous leadership issues. No, we rejected her nasty behavior. And then Tomi goes on to say, I think she responded with some other stuff, but I think that's enough because honestly, I'm getting bored at this point of just reading these tweets. But a little bit of a summary here. Basically, this was not very well received on the right wing. Now, if you don't know, a really, really characteristic thing of the right wing is that when it comes down to it, they are loyal. That's why Trump won, okay? There's this idea that, when Trump said things like, I don't like McCain. McCain's not a hero because he was captured. I like heroes that weren't captured, which is one of the most vile things you could ever say about someone else, right? And making fun of a disabled reporter. And so with the McCain thing specifically, because McCain is such a, senior official in the GOP, you would think that would be something that would be really heavy. And a lot of the idea was, and it was the idea employed by the Clinton campaign, where it was like, for every lefty that we'd lost, we're going to pick up 2 Republican moderates. That was actually something said by their campaign. And it didn't pan out because when it comes down to it, man, they are loyal. They vote your way, they stay your way. So first off, though, it was one thing about the challenge to debate. People were not happy about Candace Owens challenging her to a debate because they were saying, you're just giving the left something to feast on, which is absolutely true. That's why I'm making this video, because I love this. It's hilarious, super entertaining, awesome, right? Totally correct, 100% on point. So yeah, it is giving the left something to feast on. But their other point was like, you're giving the Dems what they want. You need to focus on taking it to the Dems, not debating, intra conservative. And this is really intra because Tomi Lahren and Candace Owens are in the same sphere. Laura Ingraham and Candace Owens are not in the same sphere per se. But Tomi Lahren and Candace Owens are. They're pretty analogous. And so they have been bickering a lot. But this was something super entertaining. Now, I don't really know. The thing is first off, let me say that was what the reception of it was in the beginning when the debate was offered. And you can check the tweet replies for yourself. Go ahead on Twitter. Some of these were deleted from Candace. I believe Tomi has left all of hers up. I don't think any of those were deleted. I think they're all still up there. But there was, after it got personal, because as you just heard, it got personal. It got really personal, okay? You're talking about calling someone, saying that this person is a vile human being and that they were saying this stuff and you hurt my feelings and stuff like that and you're a disgusting person. It got really personal. And this was even worse recepted by the right wing, because they're like, hold on, like, you're not only making us look bad, but this is something you should talk about behind closed doors. You shouldn't be, airing this out on Twitter for everyone to laugh at you guys and, so you guys look dumb. So it already was received bad from the right wing in the beginning when the debate was challenged, because they don't care about that. They want to beat the Democrats, whatever it takes, whatever means it takes to defeat the lefties. That is what they will do. But the other part was, it got even worse for them when it went personal, because now they're like, okay, this is ridiculous. Can't you just DM each other? Can't you get on a phone call? And it's pretty bad to watch. I mean, I'm trying to look at this. If you are to look at this from somebody who's, let's say they're a centrist or not on either side and don't even know Tomi Lahren or Candace Owens, they see these tweets. I imagine that person would be like turned off. I imagine they would be really turned off, because it doesn't seem like that's something that would really impress anybody or attract anybody at all whatsoever. I really don't see that. And I just think that's the case. So I don't fall on either side on this, because last time I was more on Tomi's side, because it was kind of like, okay, you're just saying that she has a failed career. That's really all you got. When Tomi was clearly right that, yeah, the Kanye train was dumb, and so are you. She was right on that. And Candace was only rebuttal was, you're a failed career, which is character assassination, as well as just lack of logic, period. This case, they're both just being ridiculous. There is no substance here except for the prison reform bill, which it went from a prison reform bill disagreement to personal stuff. So I'm not on either side here, but let me know if you're on a side for some odd reason and what you guys thought about this. It's pretty entertaining and hilarious nonetheless.